And welcome back, everybody. I'll hang up and listen. Brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at all their locations. If you're looking to get a beer, make sure you make it a Fatty Beer. And of course, Buffalo Logo apparel, whether it's your shirts, your hats, or your hoodies. Right here, the Blue Collar brand hat, also from Buffalo Logo. Make sure you get over to Buffalo Logo Co. on Instagram and Twitter, or buffalologo.com. Also find Fatty Beer at Fatty Beer on Instagram and Twitter, fattybeer.com. Buffalo Sabres lose another one, second straight, 4-2 to the Montreal Canadiens at home in a must-win in regulation game. As the title of the episode says, it's over. It's all over. 14 years. 14 years of no playoffs. 14 years in a league where more than half the teams make the playoffs. You are not mathematically out, but it's over. Like, these are games right here that you needed to win. You had a home and home against a team in front of you in the standings, in your division, that you needed to collect 4 out of 4 points, and you couldn't afford to give up any points in either overtime or shootout. You lost. It's over. Done. Season's over. And thank God. For me, I'm just done. I'm so done with the optimism. I tried to be optimistic as much as I humanly could, but this was a game that you need to come out and play desperate hockey. You needed to come out and win. Playing against a backup goaltender, and you didn't get it done. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This team wasn't built to win in the regular season. Wasn't built to make the playoffs. They weren't deep enough. Defensively, you've been searching for your other defensive partner for Owen Power now for 3 years. Never found him. And it all falls in the lap of Kevyn Adams. That's who it is. It all falls in the lap of Kevyn Adams, and there's nobody else. I mean, outside of the obvious in ownership, but you point the finger at him. He didn't make a single move this season. Not one single move to make this team better. In a league where you saw midseason trades happening, you saw 2 trades happen today, even between for Lindgren going to the Avalanche, and you saw Seth Jones go to the Panthers. You did nothing. Kevyn Adams did nothing, and you don't deserve to have a job. You don't. And now we head into the March 7th deadline, less than a week away, and the same GM who built a team that had a 13-game losing streak this season, the same GM that was part of a 18-game, whatever, down to Ralph Kruger, or how many games that was, and a season where you preached being harder to play against, the time is now to win, blah, 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 blah. And 14 years, no playoffs. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. I'm going to hit the peanut gallery here real quick because there's a lot of comments already in here. Tuck is the worst passer in the NHL. I don't know about that, but, I don't think really anybody was on their game today. Power was totally bullied by – he bullies a lot of guys, though. I'm a very big critic, as you all know, of Owen Power, but I don't even know how to say pronounce his last name correctly, but he bullies a lot of people in the NHL, not just Owen Power. From Big Fungus, WWE is more entertaining than the Sabres performance tonight. I was actually watching both. Elimination Chamber and this. And I have to agree, Elimination Chamber was more entertaining. It's crazy that they brought Lindy back and fired Granato just for the team to be 10 times worse. I don't know if they were 10 times worse this season. It took until, March last year for them to win 3 games in a row. They've done it 4 or 5 times already this year. But Lindy inherited a bad roster, and there wasn't much done to improve said roster. So, I don't know. For me, it's like, you don't fire Lindy. Lindy's not the problem. This is the team he was given, and they weren't good enough last year. They weren't good enough the year before that. And you didn't really make any dramatic improvements. You added Bowen Byram at the deadline last year, which is a good ad. But now his future, he cannot be a Sabre this time next week. He seriously might not be. He could be traded at the deadline. We don't know. From Peter Fisher, huge win night for the Bandits. We should be giving them more attention, not the Sabres. I tend to agree. I'm not a lacrosse guy, though. I'm not. Hats off to Columbus. They endured absolute tragedy and came together as a team, way better team than we will ever have in Buffalo. Coaching, GM, all of it. They deserve so much credit. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, so much went wrong for Columbus in the offseason between the tragic, death of Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau, between just the drama with the coaching staff and just, the guys that, left Columbus. You have to give credit where credit is due. They did a fantastic job coming together and putting together one of the better teams in the National Hockey League, and they deserve it. Cannot even win with the Goat Head jerseys. Remember when they felt evil in the Goat Head jerseys and they had an unbelievable record in the Goat Head jerseys? Yeah, miss those days. Good for them. Lose every game and try for another draft pick that may turn out to be something. I mean, you would hope. But here's the thing. We've had 2 first overall picks on this team, 2 second overall picks on this team. And, this team has littered with former first round picks. And you still can't figure it out. And honestly, that has to change at the top. Whether it's a change at ownership, getting a president of hockey ops, I don't know what needs to change, but you just can't keep doing the same vicious cycle of the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted that this GM has not done a single thing this entire season to make this team better. I'm disgusted at an owner who allowed it to happen. I'm disgusted at our core, who have, outside of Tage and Darlene, have done very little to improve. It's gross. It's gross, and we deserve much better in Buffalo. Whatever happened to hockey happened. It's literally just thinking about that in my head. We used to be such a fun hockey town. There used to be times where you couldn't drive down a side street and not see a bunch of kids outside playing street hockey, pickup hockey, and now it's just the complete opposite. You're embarrassed to wear your Sabres gear out in public. You're embarrassed to even admit to you're going to a Sabres game. When you're a season ticket holder and you can't go to a game. You can't even recoup 50% of the value of the ticket. Sometimes you can't even give the tickets away because people just don't want to go. It's embarrassing. 15 years ago, it wasn't like this. It wasn't like this. It's disgusting. And again, we all know where the blame lies from Paul Dirk. I can't believe Lindy hasn't spoken up. We don't really know what Lindy says in the locker room or behind closed doors. But yeah, I would love to see that old school Lindy Ruff from his first tenure in Buffalo and see him get animated. We have seen a little bit more accountability under Lindy Ruff, but I would like to see a lot more. I don't know. We'll see. Apparently, the Chipulos don't fund the junior Sabres anymore. Not surprising. Wilford must be an Adams lover. He is the worst assistant coach ever. Yeah, I'm not sure why Marty Wilford was kept on as an assistant. It's actually mind-blowing to me. I'll never understand it, personally. More from Mark Miller. Let me see here. We've got lots of comments here to go through. Bull was filled with Habs fan. I could hear "Go Habs Go" consistently. Yeah, you could hear it on TV too. And it's for the last decade. That's been expected when you play Montreal or Toronto, because those are the only games fans can recoup some money. Season ticket holders can recoup some money, is when those teams come to town. It is disgusting. It is gross. I hate seeing that many fans. But I used to criticize fans for selling their tickets. To Montreal fans, to Toronto fans, to when Boston comes to town, the Boston fans. But I can't criticize anymore, because how can you? The team doesn't justify you not selling your tickets to the outside market fans. Like you can't. I don't blame them. You got to recoup some money, especially in today's economy. I don't know, man. I really don't know. We'll get more animated this when Hurls is on with us on Tuesday for the next episode of Two Goalies, One Mic. But I don't know. It's gross. It's embarrassing. This is one of the worst run teams in all of sports history, franchise, in all of sports today. How can you deny that they're not the worst run franchise? How do you not make a single move to improve this team the entire season? The entire season. How? There's no justifying it. There's no justifying it. I'm so sick and tired of hearing teams don't want to make moves with you. There are ways to make like you did it with Bowen Byram and Casey Middlestat, right? You made your team better, theoretically, with that trade. You chipped off Casey Middlestat for Bowen Byram. He had no choice but to come. He didn't have a no movement clause because he wasn't qualified for one yet. You made your team better with that deal. There are deals out there to be made. Is it that Kevin Adams is gun shy? Is it really just scared to, deal a player that might go on somewhere else, succeed and win a cup almost immediately? Like kind of like the storyline has been with this franchise. I don't know. I really don't. It is gross. It's disgusting. And no, in normal franchises and stable franchises, the GM would have been fired by now. But what are you gonna do? I don't know. Um, it's so frustrating as a Sabres fan. I want to yell, I want to scream. I'm not at home right now, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I just want give me one round of playoffs, man. Just give me one. I don't care if we get swept 4 games to none. Just give me one playoff round. Just get that monkey off your back. Kind of like when the Bills broke the drought and then they lost to Houston, whoever it was. Just I don't care. Just give it to me. Give me playoff hockey in Buffalo just again, just to experience it. And it's the level of difficulty it is to miss the playoffs 14 years in a row. The level of difficulty that takes, it's almost impressive. We're worse than the Jets, in terms of the Jets in the NFL compared to the Sabres. Like, I don't know. It's an 82 game season. You have a long time to evaluate your team and make changes and decisions. And I'm not sure what game we're in right now, but the fact that this is still been the same team since game number 1 is embarrassing. Embarrassing. Kevin Adams has to go, but he's not going to go because you're going to fire a GM less than a week before the NHL trade deadline. No, you're not. You're not. Hit some more comments here. Fans were so in love with Mitz, and he's almost been chased out by the Habs now. I'm not sure what went wrong in Colorado. Maybe just wasn't a good fit, but he started off really well. And then, since, I don't know, after the first 2 months of the season, he's not been the same guy. From scary, crazy man, I put all the blame on the owner. I mean, how do you not? How do you not? It's harder to win the playoffs 14-0 than it is to win a Stanley Cup. Don't disagree with you. I can't even put a huge part of the blame on Kevin. This owner is running the team this way. Agreed. Hey. Sorry. I gotta cover the camera here for a moment. Yeah, I don't know. It's sorry about that. Had a guest almost up here on the show. Yeah, from Mauricio, turn out the lights. Duane's season being over since 2 months ago. GM is at fault. Yeah, and I'm tired of hearing excuses that the GM isn't allowed to run the team the way he wants to. No, it's not an excuse anymore. It's not. There are deals out there to be made, I'm sure, or you just weren't searching hard enough. Continuing to believe this, going back to that trip, the last trip in Montreal, where Terry Pegula said in the locker room, the solution is in this room. Nope. Clearly it wasn't, Terry. Clearly it wasn't. Was not in this room. Nope. Because you are going to miss the playoffs for the 14th year in a row. I know season ticket holders already got their renewal emails, and it's actually a slap in the face and a kick in the nuts to even consider raising season ticket holder prices. You should lower them. You should lower them. I don't know. Season was over for me since December. They were bottom of the waiver wire and missed out on claims on guys like Wallstrom, but Boston was along to snag him. Not even him, just what's his face? That Forsling. He was on waivers. Other guys that were on waivers too. I don't know. It's disgusting. We just left, homie. Yeah. I don't know where to go from here. Obviously, we're still going to be here for the rest of the season, giving you the best possible coverage we can give you, the number one post-game show in all of Buffalo. I don't know anymore. I just don't have answers. Henry Jokiharju being scratched tonight, was it due to potential trade reasons, or was it because he just played terrible against Carolina? He's been scratched a bunch of times this year, healthy scratch. So, you know, you'd love to see it because that, a deal is in the works to maybe bring in a forward or a package deal to bring in a forward, but I doubt it. I doubt it because then wouldn't he have been traded? I don't know. Zucker not being re-signed yet. Apparently he's met and Kevin has talked with his management in the last week. I swear, man, if he does not trade Zucker, if he doesn't get extended before the deadline, actually, no, you should trade Jason Zucker no matter what. You should trade Jason Zucker no matter what. If he wants to be here and he wants to be part of the solution, you tell him this deal will be on the table for you in the offseason. Go play for a contender, and this deal will be here waiting for you. The cap is going up. You want to overpay that guy? Go right ahead. Go right ahead. But you could utilize that asset to make your team better at the deadline. You saw what Seth Jones went for today. Jason Zucker has playoff experience and he's having a career season. There's no way you could possibly keep him beyond the deadline. If he wants to be here, then you have that conversation with him. But him, Jokiharju, the speculation constantly surrounding Dylan Cousins. I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't trust Kevin Adams to get the right deal done. It was a nice deal from him, Bowen Byram for Casey Middleset. That was a nice deal. Hopefully, I love to see them re-sign him. But if you can't, you see guys like Quentin Byfield apparently being available, who doesn't have a no movement clause. If that guy is available, you overpay for him. I would trade Byram and Cousins tomorrow. Byram and Cousins tomorrow for Quentin Byfield. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And if you're LA, how do you say no to that? I don't know. From Big Funk is Zucker, Greenway, Byram, Power, Cousins, Joker, all should be traded if I was in control. It'd be great. Yep. You can get a first round for Zucker. You can get more than a first round pick, in my opinion. I think there's a lot more to be gained at the deadline for Jason Zucker, personally. I'm going to bring up the post-game comments from players and coach here from Brian Koziel in a moment. Let me just pull them up. But again, Sabres lose 4-2 to the Montreal Canadiens, again, in a must-win game. And, of course, as you saw in the title, the season is over. Over. So let me find post-game comments here from Brian Koziel. Lindy said he thought Bryson played well, made a nice play on one of the goals. Lindy also said that they fell asleep on the play on the late Montreal goal for the end of the second. Yeah, you can't give up late you can't give up goals in the period because you lose all momentum. That obviously ended up being the game-winning goal. Lindy says sometimes you have to let the other team make the mistake. Lindy also says the first two goals against the puck was on their stick and they didn't execute. Then they gave up an odd man rush. Dahlian says you can't lose 3 out of 3 against a divisional opponent. Nope, no, you can't. Dahlian on goal at the end of the second. Yeah, that was brutal. Can't happen. From Dahlian, we didn't get to the net enough. We kept the puck to the outside. We were missing chances when we had to score. We were not good enough. Greenway says Dubs was talking ridiculously at the end of the game, and he was reminding him that he will see them on Monday night again. Greenway, I think all 3 of their goals, I think we could have done a better job. We were all over them in the offensive zone. We gave a penalty, a goal on the power play that was avoidable. Tuck says it's frustrating. It's a game of inches. It's such a competitive league. It's definitely frustrating. Also from Tuck, on the late goal by the Habs in the second, it sucked. Says maybe he could have gotten his stick in the shooting lane. Tuck also on the loss, just overall. Just miscues, not bearing down. We gave up. We gave them all their opportunities, a couple of misplays, a couple of puck management issues, and we weren't able to capitalize on our opportunities. Yeah. I mean, yeah. You could literally play those comments on repeat after every time this team loses because it's the same old story. Bad puck management, not being willing to get into shooting lanes and passing lanes, not blocking shots, just not playing desperate enough. It's just the same story with these teams. This team, every single time they lose a game like this, every single time. 14 years of not good enough. That could have been a great title for this episode. Not gonna lie, we weren't good enough tonight. Save it, Duane. That's why they're going to say. Yeah, it's said twice by two different players in the post game. I don't know anymore. All I know is 14 years. 14 years of mediocrity on the ice, mediocrity off the ice, mediocrity fan engagement, mediocre arena, mediocre fan experience, mediocre GM, actually worse than mediocre. Guy, it's been awful, god awful. Yeah, I don't know. From producer Steve, Buffalo, welcome to the medium place. Yeah, so mid, it's not even funny. I got really nothing else to say. It's been god awful, and they have the same team again on Monday in Montreal. And honestly, if you want my opinion, you want my genuine opinion, you call up Devin Levi. Call up Devin Levi. He's earned a start. One start. Let him play in front of his home crowd in Montreal. Don't put Reimer in. Give it to Devin Levi. That's what I would do. That kid has been playing out of his mind in Rochester. Some of you may not agree. Give him one start. One start. That's just my opinion. You're not keeping him up in the long term. You're just giving him a spot start in his hometown where maybe the vibes will be high. Reward him for the play he's had as being easily the best goalie in the AHL. One of the very few bright spots for this organization right now has been Devin Levi and the way he's played and hopefully leading this team to a Calder Cup in the AHL. I know I wouldn't play Levi in front of Bryson and Samuelson, but you know what? It's just one game. One game. You know it's not going to ruin his confidence. You've seen him play like this all season. All season. I would give him a spot start. He's earned it for his home crowd. Just my opinion. Just want to remind you guys, it's been brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room, with over 300 beers to choose from. Live music, entertainment, and trivia. You want to catch one of these miserable remaining Sabres games, make sure you go to Fatty Beer. If you want to need a beer, go get a Fatty Beer and tell them Two Goalies One Mike sent you. And as always, Buffalo Go Pale, shop small business. Local designs, like you see here, the blue collar gear, different colored hoodies, shirts. Unbelievable feel. Best hoodie I've ever had. And you can get the RJ ball cap paying homage to Rick Jenner. That's also available at Buffalo Co. on Instagram and Twitter. Go check them out. If you've enjoyed this content, all these post-game shows that we do, please make sure that you give us a follow. You can find me at DuaneS39 on Twitter, Duane Steinel on Facebook and Instagram. You can find us at Two Goalies One Mike at all social media platforms. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever your podcast. Just search Two Goalies One Mike. And if you've enjoyed this post-game show, you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. Hit the little bell icon so you get notified whenever we go live. And most importantly, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Helps us with the algorithm. Helps us monetize this show. And as always, unfortunately, go Sabres.